Happy fall, y'all! Welcome to LaRosa Reads. I'm Denise LaRosa, and today I'm going to share with all of my fellow book lovers my October reading plans. Let's talk books. I love the month of October, and I am so ready to share with all of you my October reading plans. I have a very ambitious reading plan, so I have separated my books into two categories, must-dos and can-dos. Yes, I am a teacher at heart, and so sometimes we will assign our students must-do tasks, things that are required. It's not that I am requiring myself to read these books. However, I have a prioritized list of books that I really want to get to, and then the others that are like can-dos, you know, it would be nice to get to them. They're giving me fall vibes, but if I don't get to them, all is well in the world. So here we go. So I absolutely must get to reading A Raisin in the Sun, a wonderful legendary play that I will actually be taking our ninth graders to. In late October, we will be seeing a production of A Raisin in the Sun, and I would love to read the play beforehand and just really immerse myself into this wonderful theatrical experience. I cannot wait to read A Raisin in the Sun. The next book that I want to get to in the month of October was loaned to me by a wonderful friend, my bestie, Katie, and it is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. First of all, this cover is just giving me cozy October witchy vibes, and she just could not stop raving about how delightful this book is. So I really know next to nothing about this book, and I just have a feeling it's going to be right up my alley, and this is the perfect time to read it. So let's read a little bit of the synopsis here to just get a feel for what's going on. As one of the few witches in Britain, Mika Moon knows she has to hide her magic, keep her head down, and stay away from other witches so their powers don't mingle and draw attention. And as an orphan who lost her parents at a young age and was raised by strangers, she's used to being alone, and she follows the rules with one exception, an online account where she posts videos pretending to be a witch. She thinks no one will take it seriously, but someone does. An unexpected message arrives begging her to travel to the remote and mysterious Nowhere house to teach 3 young witches how to control their magic. It breaks all the rules, but Mika goes anyway and is immediately tangled up in the lives and secrets of not only her 3 charges, but also an absent archaeologist? Okay, a retired actor, 2 long-suffering caretakers, and Jamie, the handsome and prickly librarian of Nowhere House, would do anything to protect the children, and as far as he's concerned, a stranger like Mika is a threat. Oh my goodness, it sounds like we might have some exciting things happening here. No, it doesn't sound like we might. We are going to have some exciting and mysterious secret things happening here, and perhaps a romance. I am loving it already. That friend Katie of mine is living her best life in October. She loves all the witchery and trick-or-treating that October brings. So is it a surprise that I have yet another book that Katie loaned to me, and it is Eden's Everdark. I cannot wait to read this book. This is a middle grades book that is dark, mysterious, and intriguing, and just all the things that make me feel like it's October. So, what's happening in this book? When Eden stumbles across an old sketchbook of her mother's while visiting Safina Island, her ancestral home, she's haunted by the images she sees drawn there. A creepy mansion covered with roots and leaves, a monstrous dog with dagger-sharp teeth, children with deep indigo skin flecked with stars, mouths open as if to scream, creepy, and a tall woman with wind-blown hair. Okay, enough. I get it. This has got a little bit of creepy vibes. We're here for it. Eden's mother did these drawings many years ago, and she died last year. What could they mean? So, can Eden find a way to defeat a witch's magic, or will she remain trapped in Everdark forever after following a black cat through a rift in the bright day? Okay. I definitely think this is going to be a solo read for me. However, at some point, I will hand this over to the LaRosa girls. I can't wait. The Thursday Murder Club is a book that piqued my interest through Krista's channel, Books and Jams. Krista was talking about reading this book, and her description of it, her excitement for it, just had me going straight to Goodreads and adding it to my TBR. I mean, we've got elderly people in an old folks' home, so to speak, that are a part of committing murders or a murder. I don't want to read the synopsis verbatim because I've already done that with like the past 2 books. What I will say is the combination of a cozy mystery and time with elderly people whom I adore. I just love spending time with older people. It's given me Sophia from the Golden Girls vibes, and like, I am so excited for this book. I think it might be a little comical as well. So, the Thursday Murder Club. Will I continue reading the series? Let's see how the first one goes. And the last book that I have in my must-read category for October is Opies Ghost. This is yet another book that was gifted to us being the LaRosa girls and myself. It was gifted to us by Katie quite a while ago. So those of you who have been around my channel know that I absolutely love the indie bookstore nearby called Completely Booked. And so they get a lot of advanced readers editions of these books, these arcs that are really appealing to us. And so this is an arc that we were to read in support of Completely Booked to see if this is a book worth adding to the wonderful collection of books at that store. Opies Ghost was started by all of us LaRosa girls, and unfortunately we only made it to page 28. It was a read aloud at bedtime that I was reading to the girls, and we absolutely were just transfixed and so immersed in the story. And Ophie's story is one that starts off very, very sad, incredibly sad. And she sees her father as a ghost, not thinking it was a ghost. She thought it was actually her father. And from there, her realization that she has this gift of seeing ghosts begins, while at the same time having her mother and Ophie traveling up north, moving north after a tragedy takes place. So what is going to happen? What is this power, this ability going to lead Ophie to discover, not only about her surroundings, but about herself? I cannot wait. There's no reason why we stopped reading this other than we got into some other books. We were really excited to dive in, and I think October's the time to do just that. All right, the remaining 6 books that I have are can-dos, meaning that it would be great if I could get to these books, but if I don't in October, I won't be too sad about it, at least not as sad as I will be if I miss any of the previous books. So let's start with the first one. Katie is the gift that kept on giving, by handing over Garvey in the Dark by Nikki Grimes. I just feel like this arc is going to bless my soul. I really know very little about it, but I know enough that is telling me this is the time to read it, the month of October. Oh, wow. So Nikki Grimes returns to her beloved character Garvey, who discovers within himself the courage and creativity he needs to triumph over multiple challenges in the COVID-19 pandemic. So, like his companion Garvey's Choice, Garvey in the Dark is also written entirely in tanka poems. Moving, powerful, and beautifully told, this remarkable novel shows readers how even small acts have large reverberations, how every person can make a difference in this world, and how even in the most difficult times, there are ways to reach for hope and healing. I think as I'm sharing this with you, knowing that there's a companion, I need to back up and read that very first part of this experience with Garvey before diving into Garvey in the Dark. So, will that happen in October? Who knows, but we shall see. All right, I know. I told you guys I was going to read this book a couple months ago. I didn't get to it, and I feel like October would be an awesome month to do it, and it is Parable of the Talents by Octavia Butler. I read Parable of the Sower in January of 2021. And this book, apparently, from what I hear, is kind of creeping around, sneaking around TikTok or Book Talk. I don't know because I'm not on there, but I've heard that this book has kind of resurfaced. And I think October is a wonderful time to read Octavia E. Butler books. And if you know about Parable of the Sower, you know that it is set in the future, 2024. It was written many years ago, and it's so eerie how there's so many events that happen in that book that have come to pass, or in its own way, some version of it has come to pass in our present day. And here we have that community, that small group of people who were traveling together to establish a new community. We're picking up where we left off with Parable of the Sower by having the main character continuing to form this religion and get people on board with this religion. And she has a daughter now. So I don't want to share too much in case you haven't even read Parable of the Sower, but this is a book worth reading. It is a classic in my mind, one that we all should dive into, and maybe October will be the month for me to do that. We'll see. Claire Beams was an author that I had a wonderful opportunity of hearing from and meeting in person at the Pittsburgh Festival of Books back in May of 2022. And I purchased this book of hers titled The Illness Lesson. And it is a speculative fictional piece that I think fits well into the month of October. And it has a lot of layers to it. There's women who are coming to have these strange illnesses, and I don't remember too much about it past that. There's like a mysterious flock of birds that descended to town, and I believe that that's part of what, I guess, something they have transfers over to these women, and one by one they sicken. Fearing ruin for the school, Samuel overrules Carolyn's pleas to inform the girl's parents and turns instead to a noted physician. So it must be like a boarding school where all of this is happening within this town. And this is really interesting, and it's kind of like a take on men controlling women's bodies by making medical decisions and maybe even potentially, like historical treatment and maybe other decisions that are made by men yet impact and affect women's bodies. So, I don't know, you guys. This sounds pretty deep and profound and quite the entertaining read. So in August, I read about the Aunties, Dal A for Aunties, and the sequel is For Aunties and a Wedding, a cozy mystery that is full of hilarity and these characters that are unforgettable. I think the Aunties and Meddy's mom are clearly the stars. Meddy, love you, boo, but these Aunties and her mother are hilarious. And I think this For Aunties and a Wedding book is going to be a nice little cozy read for me. So I don't want to share too much about what happened in Dal A for Aunties. If you've read that book, however, you will have an idea of who Meddy is marrying. I don't know what's happening at this wedding that makes this a cozy mystery. I can only imagine what they're going to get into. So it says, her aunties and mother won't let Meddy's wedding ceremony become a murder scene and will do whatever it takes to save her special day, even if it means taking on the mafia. You know what? This is going to be quite the ride. I cannot wait to read For Aunties and a Wedding. Another author whom I met at the Pittsburgh Festival of Books has a speculative fiction piece that I just was savoring in my mind already once I heard the synopsis, but I also was holding out until October. I was saying to myself back in May, this is an October read, and it is Ocean State. Oh my gosh, wow, what a wild ride I think all these books that I have on my TBR for October are going to be. Here we have a working class town on the Rhode Island shore. So a high school student was murdered. There's a family that ends up having a dark story, some dark truths that come to light. It is like the quintessential fall read. I cannot wait, and I love supporting local authors. So if you want to learn more about this book, check out my Pittsburgh Festival of Books vlog that I did back in May. Lordy, y'all, I bought this book back in December whenever Barnes & Noble had the 50% off hardcovers book sale. And I think it's appeared on, is this going to be the new passing of La Rosa Reads? Like that book that just keeps on like appearing and reappearing and reappearing and reappearing. Razor blade tears. I just don't know what else to say, but I can't wait to read you, and hopefully I'll read you in October. And if not, I'll just keep adding you onto my TBR for the next month. And I have one more book that I hope to read in the month of October, and I don't have it yet. The plan is to get it soon, and it's titled Youre Invited. It is Kayla from Books and Lala's book selection. That was like a little tongue twister for the month of October, I believe. And that book club is called the Literally Dead Book Club. I have never participated in this book club on BookTube, and when I saw the synopsis for Youre Invited, I thought to myself, this is the time and the book to be a part of the Literally Dead Book Club. So with Youre Invited, the most I remember from that book synopsis is there's a remote wedding, like a wedding taking place at a remote location, and there's a woman who's not happy about this wedding happening. I guess she either is upset with the bride-to-be or wants to marry the groom. Whatever the case may be, she is determined to ensure that this wedding will not happen, even if that means murdering a few people. Needless to say, this is a wonderful book for the month of October, and I hope I can add it to my must-read list, but I am getting really ambitious here with that list. Who knows what will happen? All right, that is a wonderful stack of books for the month of October. What are your October reading plans? I would love to know. I'd love for you to stick around and check out more of my videos, like my books to film discussion about 2 incredible books that turned into film adaptations. I love you so much. I hope you're having a wonderful month, and until next time, happy reading. Bye.